The summer of 1665 was unbearably hot. The plague raged, hotter still. Throughout August, the death toll doubled and doubled again. In Cockney Alley, 6 houses were now shut up. But the misery of those locked in put money in the pockets of those left outside. Joseph Britton and Robert Phelps received 8 shillings a week as watchmen. Paid by the burial, Joseph Penny was earning more than his father had ever done. But he couldn't see his parents, still alive, but still shut inside their infected house. John Dudley was also earning 8 shillings a week, but in the second week of August, he took time off and brought home only a shilling. That week, his daughter Martha had died, though not of the plague. But no one in the alley earned more than John Gale, the blacksmith, and chief enforcer of the locking up order.
17th August. Paid Mr. Gale the smith for a lock and fitting it upon Mr. Birdwhistle's door. 1 shilling and 8pence.
Neighbours imprisoned neighbours. Robert Phelps, the watchman, helped John Gale lock in Thomas Birdwhistle and his family. The Gales and the Birdwhistles had lived opposite one another for years.
Until recently, when historians looked at these local parish records, we didn't see that the people doing the locking up, doing the watching, acting as the constables, enforcing the authorities' ways of controlling the plague are their very neighbours, people who are in the same social and economic condition as them, people who they meet in their alehouse, people who they meet and talk to in the street every day.
Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakakodash. A double honors to the apostles, elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to Akinas out there doing the work in truth and in sincerity. This is just a quick hit, based on a video from a documentary about the bubonic plague. And during this time, it wasn't just a fear tactic. This was an actual plague that consumed, most of Europe. It's definitely during the downturn of the century and the rising of Esau, Edom in the world, them being loosed upon the world for a short time. It's part of the reason why we pretty much, was taken out of leadership in Europe. But, the point of the lesson was, people are going to turn against each other, especially, those that be your neighbors. They're going to be given authority positions. And of course, the government is going to use them to weed out those that do not comply, especially with these viruses that's going on. And definitely a scenario to watch out for is, when they vaccinate, you're going to have certain neighbors, basically snitching on other neighbors, and of course, that's how, the government is going to, get, people to cooperate, by, certain incentives and stuff of that nature, and I just had it, just a few precepts, because it was just something basically watching during my break, caught that scene from that documentary, actually working from home. But yeah, so there you go. Well, Salaki, let me get the precept. This is 2nd Esdras 15, and I'll start up a few verses with the point being in like 18. All right, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And, pretty much that's race riots. And of course, the scenery is going to be set for, when things get hard out here. The government is going to be actually, or the shadow government, the establishment, whatever you want to call them, is going to use people against each other. They're going to use people against each other. And of course, those that don't get vaccinated or don't go with the status quo, or that go with a public opinion, of course, you're going to be, highlighted. Especially, they got the red force, blue force, with certain individuals in society, certain are marked for immediate elimination. Others are marked for re-education. I think that's the yellow marking on wherever they might put it, near your house, on your house, or on, the pavement near the house, or whatever the case, however they may do it. They might have maps and other stuff to, locate or whatever, and that's why they have censuses, which is going on right now. All other type of stuff, man. So it says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another swords in their hands. All right. And, people are going to be forming militia groups. People are going to be they're going to be funded by private entities, to come against one another. So the pressure is going to be from your neighbors. Of course, pressure from above, pressure from below. If you don't follow the status quo, you're going to be highlighted, And that's the conditions in which, we're going to see very soon. We don't know how these things are playing out now exactly, but because it's just a fear tactic that Esau is using. It's a lot of disinformation out there, especially now that they got people self-quarantine in the houses and shut down all forms of entertainment, which is, that's the spirit of the Lord anyway, putting the spirit on Esau to do that. This is definitely a time where they're going to be spreading more disinformation. I call it the re-education. Because the propaganda that's going to be pushed, Esau is going to be using more of his witchcraft. And, after this spill over these next 3 weeks to a month, or, 6 weeks, whatever, however long it takes for them to do what they're doing, there's going to be more evils increasing in the earth, man. So that's definitely something to look out for. Verse 16, Salakia, it says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All right, so people are going to have the power to do what they want and how they want, because there will be a fight against the leaders. People are going to rebel against the leaders because of the lying, because of the manipulation. So there's another scenario as well. Okay. And the scriptures talk about, great confusion. That's going to be all over the earth. There's going to be, not just one thing happening, but you're going to have a whole, you're going to have different scenarios playing out. You're going to have race riots. You're going to have neighbors snitching on neighbors. You're going to have all these things, neighbors working with the authorities to weed out the defiant ones. There's so many different scenarios, of course, of course, the vaccinations, and then a chip being one of the main intricate parts of this whole thing, especially in these times. They have to implement that, and more viruses are going to come. They're not going to be using paper money, as is a scene in that documentary, the bubonic plague, where they weren't using money. They wasn't accepting money right off the bat. You had to clean it, and so the brother Tazwam just came out with a article, or that basically saying that the money is contaminated. Could be very well carrying the virus. So there's another scenario. All right, it says, verse 17, man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. All right, here's a point I wanted to bring out. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So there's going to be anarchy because of the lack of bread, because of the lack of resources. And as you can see right now, it's just a testing ground for these people. You know, the elites have scared them into subjection, scared them to quarantine themselves, also scared them into hoarding and going to the stores and erratically buying up things so they can, pretty much guard themselves from, whatever they think they need to guard themselves from, which clock out. But it says Salaki, it says it says it shall spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for the great tribulation. Behold, said the Lord Yahweh, the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. All right. So that, that's pretty much going into war amongst these different nations. All right. Of course, for their transgressions against us. But that wasn't the point. That verse 18, I wanted to just draw from there. All right, so this is Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, the thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun, right? So we learn from history. We learn from events within the history in the 1930s, the economic crash, pretty much very similar to the times that people are going to go through and face in these times. That bubonic plague is an example for when plagues are really real, which, this coronavirus, it ain't that, it's real, but it's not what they're propagating it to be. It's more people dying of heart disease and other things. It's more people killing each other. I think the rate of people killing each other on a day-to-day basis is like 1,300 people, in this coronavirus. The most it killed within a day is a couple hundred. So that's another thing to point out. Verse 10, it says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? All right, so these things we're gonna see, the evils on the earth, is nothing new, but of course they're intensified, being that we live in the very end days before the Lord establishes his eternal righteous kingdom. It says it had been already of old time, which was before us. All right, there's no remembrance of former things. Now it is, because we can, this historical footage, it's because the Most High Yahweh was giving Esau that technology. So it says, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are come with those that shall come after. Right. So, we don't remember our past lives, though, because there is such thing as reincarnation, All right. This is for the mirth, This is Isaiah 24:12. Get straight to the point. It says, I start up a few verses. Isaiah 24:10, it says, the city of confusion, which is Babylon, Babylon the Great. Esau is known as the daughter of Babylon, according to Psalms 137, according to Isaiah 47. So that city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up. all right, that no man may come in, all right. And you see the houses are shut up. And when these events start to intensify, race riots and all these things, the houses are going to be shut up even more, with more viruses and more things coming, all right. So this place is broken down because the Lord is breaking it down, okay? Because it once was filled with joy and mirth and entertainment. Now the entertainment is being taken away, Lord knows how long, but these are definitely signs and things that have happened throughout history. So we know exactly what to expect, So it says that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone, and the city is left desolation, which we're going to see that. And the gate is smitten with destruction. All right. So the openings of the gates are going to be smitten with destruction, in most parts, especially America, of course, the mirth is going to continue through because of this, because of that chip, they got to, continue, business as usual because, as the scriptures say, the days shall be, it shall be like the days of Noah, where they were still eating and drinking and being given into marriage. So, of course, things are going to continue, but because of that, because of the lifestyles that they're going to be leading, all right, and the RFID chip is going to be the main centerpiece within the society structure, and hey, Lord willing, is just edifying. I just wanted to really quick throw something together, based off of that documentary, the piece that I seen in that documentary. But yeah, let me see. The New Wine Morning. Oh, Salaki verse. Well, I should go up. Isaiah 24:5, of course. 24. Let me see. Isaiah 24:3. It says, "The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken this word." All right. And of course, we know this is coming from the Lord. It says, Amos 3:6 or 3:7, "Shall evil be done in the city, and the Lord had not done it? Shall a trumpet be blown, and the people be not afraid?" Roughly paraphrasing, but it's the Lord that's doing this. All right. So verse 4, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away." That's the condition that we live in. We see it on a day-to-day basis, with the oceanic life, also politics, agriculture, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, but not politics, but just, agriculture and, deforestation, the oceanic life, with the lack of coral reefs, so on and so forth. It says, "The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish." So these people are actually languishing. Nobody is rich. The majority of society is poor. They live in that this pseudo lifestyle of inclusion and entitlement because of the witchcraft that Esau is pushing through the mediums, and of course, the lifestyles that he perpetuates to these people through his medium, all right, through television, all right. It says the earth also, so don't be fooled. Jake be on social media posting money and stunting and all of that. That ain't wealth, that is just really everybody's in debt, all right. If you carrying that dollar, you're in debt, which they're going to change the system over to a digital system, which will definitely the chip is going to be the main instrument, the main centerpiece of all transactions. All right. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws. Now Esau is the one that leads the earth. The scriptures talking about in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So Esau is the one that's defiled. he's the one that's defiling the earth, all right? Because he is the leader, and the earth is in his clutches, via his corporations. It says, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, all right, broken the everlasting covenant, all right. And Esau, the so-called white man, does that on a day-to-day basis. He creates laws against the eternal law, the universal law of the scriptures, It says, therefore, hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. You see, desolate of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Also, comfort, the real comfort, which is like that light that shineth forth, which is this truth. It says, therefore, the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. All right, and we're going to see more of that manifestation. The earth is literally going to be burned by thermonuclear fire. There's going to be few men left because of the wars, because of pestilences, and all these different things that's going to consume man by the auspices of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Of course, he using the devil, the so-called white man, to do it. So it says, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth and the mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoiceth ended, the joy of the harp ceaseth. All right, and the joy of the music, this place is gone down. All right, and rightfully so. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Lord willing, is edifying. Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, Brakathum, double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Ak, and that's out there doing the work of truth and sincerity. Shalom.